Good morning, everybody. This is a continuation and doing a little mock-up work here while I'm deciding how to do it so I know what scrap to cut it out of. Go ahead.
I don't want to interrupt your thing.
No, it's okay. They're just watching me cut paper here for a mock-up. Oh. Anyway. I don't know if I can curve this. Yeah, a little bit. And then I forgot that this will also be at a down angle, so I'll just do a mock-up. When I get done in here, I need you to help me on the computer for a little bit.
Yep.
It's doing something stupid.
That sounds right.
It shows my computer skills. I don't know what he's going to be leaving state to go to for his job. He's got coming. Well, maybe I got too quick on the gun there because this isn't tapered back like I was thinking. Okay. Where's the line? This comes up to the line. There. This isn't an accurate rendition of this part of the project. I'm just doing a rough there. This is the tail light. This will actually come out farther. I am using this off the parts car, the donor, because it's getting pretty well cut up. The angle will go from angle to straight. I just took it from straight to an angle and had to put it back. It'll come right down. See if I got one of them I can get a hold of. I got so many pieces of metal. Anyway, this will work. This at 4 inches, okay, and whatever the depth of the tail light is, Say it's 1 inch. Whatever the base is. Say, okay, say right to there. And it comes down 9. Okay. That's what goes over top here, right here. All the way down. So that becomes the down piece. Gotta watch it, I got windshields and glass in there. I need to get stuff out of there and the windshield out up there. Put the trunk lid over this before I drop something in there forgetting about it and take out a window or 2 or 4. So that's it, boys and girls. That's what we're gonna do. We figured this to come straight, follow the curve, and then do the little jog here. I'll get my little plug welder punch. Funny, I bought it. The flanging tool will not work. It barely moves, but it'll punch a hole through anything right now. That's what I get for not checking it and waiting 6 months to use it. You don't know where you're going to return it. So this is the tail light piece, and we'll measure this to come out, and down she comes. I'm thinking, try this again. Just thought of something. Ran out of welding wire, so I went over to Menards to pick some up. Because every time I go to Harbor Freight in my neighborhood, they're always out of everything. And I'm always having trouble getting it. I had to turn the wire setting and the heat all the way down to keep blowing holes through it. And it did a super job of welding with the new wire in it compared to what I was using. So I'm going to polish this down, grind off those welds, and polish these down and go over it with the new wire just because I can. See, this right here will be 4 inches. This will be 9 inches. Why not cheap? And then from there to there, what I do with tape. What's that? I need to quit throwing stuff in there. Because it'll get cut here. I'll do the rough stuff and then I'll turn around and There, it's this piece here. Goes where this piece is. It comes out farther. It'll come out even with the bottom of the tail light, if I got it figured right. If not, ow, we'll have to just keep trimming it back until we get a fit between the base of the tail light and the peak down here. That's the reason I want to wrap this, so no matter how this changes, when we actually go to the fitment, don't know. Only lay that in there to remind me not to hit it anymore. Well, you tell a big difference in these welds. So, I'll dry them and polish them, and then come in and do a whole lot of it. It's solid. I got to weld underneath it somehow, so I'm going to have to cut this weld, so I can push that in. And right here, there's some issues with the other wire. But it's going to have to be ground and a weld run across it to correct it. This one's nice. This is the one that really boogered me up. I got to get Aaron a super flap attack to get it down smooth, and then see what I got to do in case I have to keep welding on it. Then I got this hole, this hole, this hole, this hole, these two, and then these two. So there's 2, 4, 5, 6. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 holes I've got to fill in. So I'll be holding a piece of metal back in there and doing the weld and grind. Right now I'm just trying to get everything fabricated. Get a new flapper disc on here and just polish these down. This one needs some serious love right in here, where I really put the heebie-jeebies to it when I was welding, because it warped and I had to knock it down. When I knocked it down, I cracked some welds, so we had to go in there and do a last minute touch-up repair. So this is it. And whatever I do on that side, I duplicate the manufacturing parts on this side. I think it's going to come out really nice. Really nice. And this will be extended down. Even with this. And I'll probably put a couple little, just to leave it just like it is now, leave a little, put a bracket in there to give it a little extra cush. Need to find my good old trusty headphones so I can listen to music while I'm working. I can't play my music because I can't have it in the background when I put this on air. And all those oldies and goodies and ZZ Top and all them won't be getting proper credit, I guess, or something. I don't know. But I'm not trying to capitalize off of it. I just like to work to their music. Okay. Got to order a new rubber grommet for this so I can set the fuel tank neck back in it. But it can't go in until after the car's painted, so there's no reason to order it. I got a whole list of ordering stuff that there's no reason to order because guess what? I did get a lead on a MGC. And he says it's rebuildable. What some guys think's rebuildable, some of us think they need to go to the crusher because there's not even any good parts left on them. So we'll see. Sent me a picture of it. From what I can see, it looks like it's a solid car. But you know how these MGs are, they're designed to rust from the factory. In fact, I think they leave Great Britain with rust. Until they're rusted, they don't take them out and ship them anywhere. But the seats are in it, and the car looks totally intact. That doesn't mean the floorboards are Swiss cheese. So it could be a project car coming up. Because that's got the bigger 6-cylinder motor, the Austin Healey motor in it, the 1500. And everything. They're supposed to run really good, and they're peppy and sporty. And I would naturally have to rebuild everything and then stick a Chevy rear end underneath it. And if it doesn't have one, I just happen to have a 4-speed electric overdrive MG transmission with drive shaft and everything laying underneath my workbench. Because if I get an MGC, I was working with a guy years ago, and we built off the intake manifold where the duals went on. He had two plates machined. We bent 2 pieces of steel tube to come over to make it level. Built a box, a steel box, and then drilled it, cut it out, put a carburetor aluminum spacer down on it to get the proper fitment, put nuts and bolts in it, and did everything to lock it down, and with gaskets and everything, and put a 650 CFM or a 500 or something, 4-barrel, on a little 1500, and that car screamed after that. You didn't have all the adjustments and all the tuning and all the stuff you have with the side draft carburetors, which I've never worked on one, really don't want to. And I like to make things work in other ways. I get rid of the put the Petonics electronic ignition in it, do that, get it running good, go through the engine, do my stuff on it. And most of these MGs, I've found out the reason why they're apart as they get older, the clutches and stuff go out of them, and you practically have to pull the engine and the transmission together to break them apart and do it, and then put it all back in the car And a lot of people either weren't equipped for it, didn't understand it, they didn't want to mess with it. To me, I would mark everything, take a bunch of pictures, snatch a sucker out of there, lay it on the ground, power wash the dickens out of it, engine on the engine stand, and then start ordering parts, clutch plate, pressure plate, new bolts, get the flywheel turned, check everything out, new U-joints for the drive shaft, or whatever we're going to use. Yeah. That would be a really fun car. I saw one, well, the one we did, God, it's been 20 some years now, was enamel with a clear coat with pearl in it. And it, I have to admit, it was one of my best paint jobs ever. Drank a bunch of beer on an empty stomach. Me and the guys were carrying on. I picked up that paint gun and they said I was a painting machine. As soon as that coat tacked up, I had the gun prepped and ready to go. I masked up, went back in and hit another coat, hit another coat, hit another coat. It was 4 coats, 3 coats of paint, 3 coats of clear. 2 with pearl and 1 with just a plain clear. It looked like you could just walk up and walk into it. It was so, I'll never do that paint job again. It's one of them things that just, every once in a while you do something that's exceptional that you normally don't do, and you impress yourself, and you think, man, I wish I could do that again. Whatever. Here it is. This side here has been cut similar in the metal I put in. Now, before you ask, this panel is that panel. We cut down over to the center lines, okay, and whacked it out, and it supports the inner fenders, and there's a double piece inside. I got a pile of scrap laying up there because it was literally a pain in the butt. Let's just say it. It was a pain in the balls to get that thing cut out. With someone who's how to use a plasma cutter. And my son worked on that thing for about an hour and 15 minutes before we could lift it off of there. So we weren't bending it or distorting it, because you roll the car over and it gives you support because it's got the panels to these heavy duty metal wheel wells, and then you got an inner panel right here, and then you got a total panel that this panel goes into, which I just cut this one and trimmed it. The rest of it's laying up there. Look at this, it's still stout as it can be. Now I'll come in, I got a little zealous here. I think there's another one right here. I'll hit it with the bright light in the grinder, then I'll come along with that welder and hit them on all these little cuts. I did so I could bend this. I'll just come do a tack-a-ball, spot weld them. Then I'll come back spot weld these so I can grind this smooth when I'm doing the whole work. That's impressive. I impressed myself. I spit on this floor and grinding metal and everything. As soon as I figure out what panel I'm going to use, it's going to be off the blue car because I got the metal laying here, which means I'm going to have to clean the paint off of it, clean all the way down, because they primered the car and whatever was in the paint gun or their compressor or water filter wasn't doing a good job. It sprayed something on the car. It didn't allow the paint to flow. And then it dried. And it's got like, there's one spot where the paint overlapped it when it is almost all white. This needs to be done. I didn't go hog wild because I didn't want to get into this. I need to get some of this done. Then I'll come in and do some more welding. probably going to be moving up front here in a little bit and start back with the Bondo, because this can wait, and then I'll get that done. That will cure, and while that's curing, I'll come back and find out what I'm going to use to make this panel here for both sides. Because when I cut this panel, I got to cut this off, which means I'm going to have to put a piece of metal in here. I don't know how thick that is. I wonder if I can get a tail light out. We got so much crap in here. Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna work good. Needless to say, when I cut the real piece, it'll come out to here. And then my son, when he gets ready to wire, he's going with LED. What I've decided to do I'm going to run a 5-wire. You can find it at trailer supply houses. It's 5 different wires in a strand like a house Romex. I'm just going to run it up into the engine compartment where I'm going to put the main fuse panel, breaker panel, whatever you want to call it. Because you got to remember, I still got a standalone wiring harness and a computer to go in here. And that'll go in there. And I'm going to run that wire back and just leave the whole roll laying back here. Because back here, there's 5 wires in it. That's stop lights, tail lights, left turn signal, right turn signal, and fuel pump. So when I'm running the fuel line, then I can roll that wire, I can lock everything in place, and it'll run up almost the same way, and it ends up in the engine bay on the passenger side on the shelf, where they used to have a pollution charcoal canister, a windshield washer bucket, and a couple other things. I'm probably going to move my windshield washer thing up front on the driver's side, in the front of this area up there I can use. I need to put the ECM and with the standalone wiring harness for the engine, because it's all wired for the gauges. I don't even want to think about working on this dashboard. We're going to cut it out of the car here next weekend, I think. Yeah. Sorry about that. I was daydreaming for 1 minute. People, like, subscribe. We'll be back on. We're going to be going to the front. I've got a bunch of body stuff to do. And give this a rest in my head and just get my head around it. I like the way this looks. I'm going to like how that comes down. It will come out to here and follow this curve because I'm using that piece up there. But underneath it, like I was saying, it's at an angle. I gotta make it straight by cutting this off. Then I gotta clean it off and weld it back on for this to sit on. And then I'm gonna have to plug the hole in it so water can't end up running down in there. Well, I make a water trap. Just a few more minutes on the bench over there welding. People, like I was saying, like, subscribe, leave a comment. You have a great day. There she is. We'll be moving forward with it this week. Hopefully, I will have the panels and the ends on it. And then we'll start the grinding and the cutting and the re-welding. I do like that new welding wire. Some good stuff. Have a blessed day. And you get your build on.